Hi, my name is Mhlauli-Moses, and this is a segment of Your Black Women, Will Black Women Keep It Real? I'm here with my good friend, Shaquita Graham. How are you doing today, Shaquita?
I'm doing good, Noma. How are you?
Very good. As most of you know by now, since you've seen Shaquita and I quite frequently on this channel, I'm the founder of Healthy Black Woman, and Shaquita is the founder of Ateco.com as well as LovingTheBlackMan.com. So today we were having a little bit of girl talk before we started recording our segments, and we meandered over to the topic of Nate Parker, the actor. And why he has black women, even the two of us, a little hot and bothered. And of course, we're both married women, so it's all fun. But there's some actually substantial things that we want to talk about, that Shaquita brought up. So Shaquita, I'll let you kind of let me know what it is that piqued your interest about Nate Parker.
Well, I was just one day kind of perusing the internet and those not his lips, but he spoke to me.
Oh, you already said it. You can't backtrack.
I said it's something more to this guy, and I soon found out that he was he had written and was planning to direct and star in a movie about Nat Turner. And I've heard so many people talk about how they like to see a story like that on the screen. And at this time where we have so many people being upset about the Oscars so white kind of thing, it's refreshing to see a man like this go out and do something on his own and bring to light such an important story in our history.
So just for those who don't know, a couple of sentences about who Nat Turner actually is. Who is he?
Nat Turner in 1831 led a slave revolt. It was one of the most successful, although there were thousands of them that we don't learn about in the history books in school. And this happened in Virginia, where a lot of white slave owners were killed, and that made it controversial because we rarely see a black man in a movie stand up against white supremacy and oppression. And, a lot of times we see our men emasculated and things like that. So Nate Parker, he decided to change all of that, which I thought was amazing. He spoke about the fact that he grew up like 100 miles from where this whole story happened, but had never heard about this insurrection.
Right. And you know what's interesting about this storyline is I noticed that there's no white savior. Because when you have stories like this, I remember when 12 years a slave?
A slave.
There was the part played by Brad Pitt where he was kind of, I'll help you kind of role.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Django. People love Django because it was a man who stood up and, went and rescued his woman and all this. But still, there was that other character who was kind of like the savior. And without him, Django wouldn't have accomplished what he set out to do. So in this story is different in that he is he's taken on that role of being a leader, and he's not somebody's sidekick. So I thought that was also important. I actually read an article about Nate Parker that he said after he did his last movie in 2013, you have to remind me of the title. It's the one with the pop star, Beyond the Lights.
Beyond the Lights.
Beyond the Lights, and he said that he called his agents and he told them that he was not interested in acting anymore if he could not bring this movie to fruition. And as I understand it, he took $100,000 of his own money and ended up raising millions. I believe it was beyond 10 million, maybe 100 million. I don't know. Do you know? I'm not in the industry, so I can't conceptualize whether it takes 10 or 100 million to make a movie. But I do know it was millions that he raised to get this movie done, and he has done it. So that's why he's been in the news lately. So, it's not just about the fact that, he is fine. He's been a great actor. We love him, obviously, but it goes beyond that. He's actually a man of substance. And I dug in a little bit into his bio, and I also noticed that apparently he volunteers at the Boys and Girls Club. He actually coaches at least 2 or 3 teams in California, in the area where he lives. So he's really a man of substance. And he's married, so Shaquita and I love family men. We each have one at home. So there's a lot to him that we can appreciate. So it's not just about the way he looks. Go ahead, Shaquita.
Yeah, he actually has a degree in computer programming. I love that.
Technology.
And like he said, he invested $100,000 of his own money, and I love the fact that he did some business with some other black men. Tony Parker of the San Antonio Spurs reportedly invested. Michael Finley, he's an ex-NBA player, he invested. So I love the aspect of this story where this black man decided there was a story that needed to be told, and he put together the business end, the financing end with other black men to make it happen. And one thing that he said in this article is he put this movie together for one reason, and he wants to create change agents to stand up against injustices that still exist in our world. So, it's refreshing to see someone in Hollywood use their gift and use their business savvy to do something on their own, because he was highly discouraged, he said. People told him all the usual things, that the movie wouldn't work because it had black leads and it won't play internationally. It's a period film, so It'll be expensive. It's too violent. They said all of these things, and he was determined to keep going.
Right. And what a timely topic, because the buzz lately has been that whole story about Oscars So White and how people are, being asked to boycott the Oscars or not boycott it or whatever it is. And the whole reason is people are complaining that not enough movies are being made like the one that he's making. That's the first thing. And then the second thing, that even when black movies are made, or at least movies with black leads are made, they're totally ignored, and they act like they didn't even make a movie. They don't get nominated. They don't get recognized. So this is actually nice to see, and it's actually a very timely topic, don't you think?
Absolutely, and I think that, it's great to see someone that looks as amazing as him. No, I'm just joking. So it's really good to see that somebody in Hollywood can, not be ashamed or afraid to say, look, this is a hero to me, and I want to talk about him. I want to write about him. I want to see black people play out this story. And it's not, he was, unapologetic about it. Like, this is a story about rebelling against injustice. America was built on rebelling against injustice.
Right.
So, we shouldn't hesitate to applaud Nat Turner. And he wasn't afraid to come out and just say it. I mean, we don't have to get approval from everybody, and everybody doesn't have to make we don't have to wait for someone to give us permission to say this is a hero. This is a person that, was a great American and did great things. So I love that about him.
Absolutely. And then the other thing that I wanted to point out is, even if the movie doesn't win all the Oscars or all the awards and so forth, it's a starting point. It's a starting point. Nobody starts, with the big awards, although I imagine it's not impossible that the movie could do really, really well, and play all over the world. But what I'm saying is that's not necessarily the only point. The point is he's starting somewhere, and what was very impressive is he's putting his money where his mouth is. He put his own money in there, and he found other people to put their money in there. And I, for one, look forward to seeing this movie, don't you?
Absolutely, I sure do. And, I don't need the Oscars to validate, the things that black men or black actors do. We validate ourselves, and that's what I like about his approach in this.
Absolutely. So I just want to say thank you, Shaquita, for having this. It's actually an important conversation to have, even though we're having fun with it. saying that we're hot and bothered by Nate. So thank you, Shaquita. And again, this is Shaquita Graham from lovingtheblackman.com, a very fitting topic for her. And also a tech. She's also the founder of techco.com. And I, of course, am Mhlauli-Moses with healthyblackwoman.com. Thank you for watching.